Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tosfos Dibra Maschal Bar Mehani class. Let's begin by looking at the flowchart of the Gemara so we can see what part of the Gemara Tosfos will come to explain. So here in the Gemara, it was in continuation to the Gemara answering that when our Mishnah says Pater, in the Reisha, it means Pater or Mutter. So when the Ani did the whole malacha of Hachnasa or the whole malacha of Eitzah, the Mishnah rules, Ha'ani Chayev and Balabai is Pater. We explained that when it says Balabai is Pater, it means Pater or Mutter, since he took no part in the malacha whatsoever. And the same thing when the Balabais did the whole malacha of Eitzah, or the whole malacha of Achnasa, and the Mishnah said, Balabai is Chayev, Ani Pater, it says the Ani's Pater means Pater Mutter, since he took no role in the malacha whatsoever. He did no part of it at all. So the Gemara asked on this, how can we say that when our Mishnah says Pater, it means Pater Mutter, but Shmuel taught that throughout all the dinim of Shabbos, anywhere that it says Pater, it means Pater and Asr, except for three places. The three cases are when a person trapped a deer, when a person trapped a snake, or when a person popped a boil. So how can we say that when our Mishnah says Pater, it means Pater and Mutter? So that's the part of the Gemara that Tosfos is going to be going on. Let's begin with a general outline. We presented the teaching of Shmuel that there are only three cases by Shabbos where Pater means Mutter. Tosfos will ask that we find two more cases. There are actually two more places that Pater means Mutter, so how can we say that there are only three? Let's begin. Shmuel said that Bar Mahani Tlas, Kol P'tur de Shabbos, all the cases of Pater of Shabbos are Pater of Al-Asr, Bar Mahani Tlas, except for these three. So Tosfos asks a question from Rabbeinu Tam. How can we say it's only these three? We have another case. There's a Mishnah that says if a person extinguishes a candle for a sick person, he's Pater. And we explained to the Gemara that this is referring to a sick person with his pikuach nefesh. And if there's pikuach nefesh, it obviously means that it's mutter, because there's nothing that stands in the face of pikuach nefesh. If so, when the Mishnah says that one who extinguishes a candle for a sick person with his pikuach nefesh involved is pater, it must mean pater or mutter. So we have another case of pater or mutter. Tosfos answers that Shmuel didn't need to teach that in that case it's mutter, since it's obvious, since it's a case of pikuach nefesh, and there's nothing that stands in the face of pikuach nefesh. Obviously, when it says pater, it means mutter, and therefore there's no need for Shmuel to teach it. Now the Gemara is going to bring, Tosfos then continues and brings a support to this, just like the Gemara answered regarding our Mishnah. What did we answer? How could we say that our Mishnah is Pater and Mutter if Shmuel said there's only three cases of Pater and Mutter and he doesn't count our Mishnah among them? We explained that when does Shmuel need to teach us that when it says Pater, it means Mutter, and it's only if the person did something. You would think it's Asr. So Shmuel tells us there are three cases that are Mutter. But in our Mishnah, where the individual didn't take any part in the Malacha whatsoever, obviously means Pater and Mutter, and Shmuel doesn't need to teach it. So just like we said in the Gemara, there's certain cases that Shmuel doesn't need to teach. And that is the case. If the person didn't take any part in the Malacha, so too if there's Pikuach Nefesh, and it's obvious that it's Mutter, Shmuel doesn't need to teach that either. Tosfos now answers a question that one can ask. So why then does he count the case where a person trapped a snake? The snake is obviously a case of Pikuach Nefesh, and we're saying that it doesn't count cases of Pikuach Nefesh. So Tosfos answers the question. He doesn't present the question, but that's what he's responding to, that the case of trapping a snake is not a case where there's a sakana, because the person has another way of saving himself. The only reason Chazal made it Pater and Mutter is because there's tsar involved. And Tosfos now brings two proofs that the case of trapping a snake is not a case of a sakana, but rather only tsar. The first proof is that in the same Mishnah we also teach the case of where the popping a boil is Pater and Mutter. And by popping a boil, there's no sakana, it's only tsar. And the second proof is, because the Gemara over there says that this teaching, that one traps a snake as Pater and Mutter, fits with the opinion of Rav Shimon. Rav Shimon holds that malacha she'ein tzarich legufa is Pater. That if a person does a malacha, that he doesn't really need the malacha, like this trapping of the snake, he's not looking to get the snake, he's just looking to protect himself. Rav Shimon says that he's Pater. This shows us that the case is not one where there's a sakana, because if there was a sakana, it wouldn't just fit with the opinion of Rav Shimon, it would fit with all opinions. Everybody would agree, including Rabbi Yehuda, who says malacha she'ein tzarich legufa is chayev. He would also agree that here it's Pater since there's a sakana. From this that we said it only fits Rav Shimon shows us clearly that it's a case where there is no sakana. Now Tosfos presents another question by Ri. Ri asked that there's another case. What's the other case? It says that Rabbi Lezer is pater. He makes pater a woman who carries in Shabbos an item that holds in a perfume. Now, when he says this, it must mean that she's pater and mutter, because elsewhere Rabbi Lezer taught us that a woman is permitted lechatchila to carry these items around. So obviously, when it says that he's pater b'kayvelis uveplaitin, that he makes her pater by carrying these items, it must mean pater and mutter. And Tosfos gives two answers. The first answer is given by Ri. The answer is that when Shmuel says there are only three cases of Pater and Mutter, he means to say there's only three cases throughout the Mishnayos that it's Pater and Mutter. But this teaching of Rabbi Lezer that he says it's Pater for a woman when she carries these items was written in a brisa. And the second answer of Tosfos And the support to that is that all the other cases are mishnayos. The second answer of Tosfos is that we could actually explain that when it says Rabbi Eliezer says pater, it doesn't mean pater or mutter, but it means pater aval aser. Because Rabbi Eliezer was not stating his own opinion. How did we prove that when it says pater it means mutter? Because Rabbi Eliezer said elsewhere clearly that's mutter. There's another way of understanding this brisa, which is presented in the Gemara over there, and that is that Rabbi Eliezer was not stating his own opinion, but rather he was addressing this statement to Rav Meir. Rav Meir says that this woman is chayiv for carrying. Rabbi Eliezer was addressing Rav Meir and saying that at the very most it should be pater of alasar. I hold that it's pater mutter. But Rabbi Eliezer pater means to say Rabbi Eliezer was addressing Rav Meir and saying at the very most it should be pater of alasar. So to summarize the Tosfos asked that we find elsewhere that there are cases of pater and mutter. So why did our Gemara say there's only three? We quoted a teaching from Shmuel. And Tosfos answered in the first case that was a case of pekuach nefesh, and it's obvious that it's pater and mutter, and there's no need for Shmuel to teach it to us. And in the second case that we asked the question from, he gave two answers. One answer was that it's true that it's pater and mutter, but it's an brisa, and Shmuel was only referring to mishnayos. The second answer is that we can actually explain it to mean pater and aser, and therefore it's not one of the cases that are pater and mutter.